what kind of, or what are common security controls? Well, these are controls that can be implemented across one or more organizational information systems. Why would you want to do this? Well, you have multiple information systems out there, likely. Why go through and implement controls on each of them when you can apply a common security control that protects multiple information systems? Just from an optimization standpoint, all you have to do is implement the one control and you're protecting multiple resources or multiple systems. So you do see major cost savings here as far as implementation goes. But what you do end up with is a reliable application of these controls across the organization. Because I've got one control protecting multiple systems, I've got one person in charge of that, not 5 people each running their own instance of this control. And so I've got a much more controlled, for lack of a better term, or reliable way of implementing these controls, because I can do it once across the organization, not 5 different times. So what you'll find as you go through 853 is that there are a lot of controls in there. There's hundreds of security controls in there. Each control is appropriately generic. And what the 853 suggests you do is take that generic control and tailor it based on what you need to address your risk. You could make that control stronger if you need it to address more risk. You can make it weaker if you can't afford the resources to implement all of that. The nice thing about 853 is it provides you this tailoring guidance so that you know really how you implement the controls is totally up to you. The level of depth you go to on each of the controls is totally up to you as well. But the guidance is here to tell you how to tailor these controls to make it fit your particular situation. So under this tailoring guidance, you can determine that, look, there are certain controls in here that I don't need to implement, right? Or maybe I can't implement this control even though the 853 says I should, but I can build a compensating control in instead. Or I can customize each of these controls based on what I need to do. And it gives me the flexibility as the security professional in the organization to manage the risks based on what I know the risk to be, the resources I have to mitigate those risks, and my particular information technology systems that I have to deal with. So 853 should not be seen as a you must do this, this, and this. It's a suggestion that you do this with the recognition that you can tailor these in any way, shape, or form that you need. So once you get your control baseline or controls baseline, you know which ones you're going to implement, you can tailor these based on what you need to do. So you can apply scoping guidance. I only need this control to protect parts of the system as opposed to the whole thing. I can come up with compensating controls if I can't implement one of the controls they recommend. And I can tailor this organizationally, meaning I have specific requirements in my organization. I don't have to take the control at face value. I can implement the guidance based on what my organization needs. So the starting point here is once you select all this, don't view it as I've got to do it this way. Nope. Again, go back to the tailoring and scoping guidance, which says you can do whatever you need here to achieve the due diligence that you want as part of your organization and risk management. So here, the final determination of risk is really based on the security controls that you're implementing and making sure that you're sufficiently managing that risk. And really, the security controls are designed to do that. You might find that you can get away with just the baseline. You might find that you can get away with just specific controls, not the entire baseline. Or you may find that you need the baseline plus a few extra controls in there. And again, it goes back to what are you trying to address from a threat perspective? Are there any regulations or regulatory requirements that you have to meet? And what is it really that you're trying to mitigate? You know, what impact are you trying to mitigate? You can put all that together and come up with the exact list of controls that you need to implement, again, based on the resources you can put to it, the risk you're trying to mitigate, and the impact that you might be trying to reduce as well. Where does the information security program come in? Information security program is a big umbrella function, right? Well, when selecting security controls, really what you're doing is organizing the security controls across the organization and coming up with a plan for implementing those controls in some effective manner. Again, think about the common security controls, the things you can implement once across the organization as opposed to on individual systems. So the information security program, first and foremost, looks at all that. Then it will look at who's responsible for developing this control, implementing it, assessing the effectiveness of it, and then monitoring compliance with that control over the course of a year, 2 years, or whatever the life of this program would be. And then it makes sure that the right controls are implemented, are selected, are implemented, and that those controls actually meet the risk mitigation needs of the organization. So again, the information security program as a whole is there to figure out what controls do I need, who's implementing them, are they effective, and does it meet my specific security requirements as an organization. That's what the information security program in a nutshell is all about.